century. The influence of African Americans on mainstream American music began in the 19th century. Music such as traditional work songs was very important to the African American slaves of that time. These songs provided inspiration and hope for their future of one day being free. During the period after the Civil War, the spread of African American music continued. The Fisk University Jubilee Singers toured first in 1871. Artists included Morris Hill and Jack Delante helped revolutionize post-war African music in the central east of the United States. In the following years, the Hampton students and professional Jubilee troops formed and toured. The first black music comedy troupe, Higher Sisters Comic Opera Company, was organized in 1876. By the end of the 19th century, African American music created another form of music named ragtime. Ragtime descended from the jigs and marches played by black bands. By the start of the 20th century, it became widely popular throughout North America and was listened and danced to, performed, and written by people of many different subcultures.
Early 20th century, 1900s and 1930s. The early part of the 20th century saw a constant rise in popularity of African American blues and jazz, as well as developments in the field of visual arts. The Harlem Renaissance of the early 20th century led to developments in music.
Mid-20th century, 1940s through 1960s. By the 1940s, cover versions of African American songs were commonplace and frequently topped the charts, while the original musicians found success among the African American audience, but not in mainstream. In the late 1950s, soul and R&B became a major influence on surf, as well as the chop-trotting girls groups like the Angels and the Stranglers, only some of whom were white. Black divas like Diana Ross and the Supremes and Aretha Franklin became 60s crossover stars.
The 1970s and 1980s. The 1970s saw one of the greatest decades of black dance concerning melodic music. Album-oriented soul continued its popularity, while musicians like Smokey Robinson helped turn it into quiet storm music. Funk evolved into two strands, one a pop and soul fusion pioneered by Sly and Jerry Stone, and the other a more experimental, psychedelic, and metal fusion led by George Clinton and his P-Funk ensemble. Black musicians achieved generally little mainstream success. African Americans have been instrumental in the invention of disco, and some artists like Gloria Gaynor and Cool and the Gang found crossover audience. With white listeners preferred country rock, singers, songwriters, stadium rock, and in some subcultures, heavy metal and punk rock. The 1990s and the 2000s. Hip-hop, rap, and R&B are the most popular genres of music for African Americans in this era. Contemporary R&B, as the post-disco version of soul music came to be known as, remained popular throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Our history in music is very rich and what it changed to the to the American mainstream music today.